Leave square. Okay, what's up? This is another edition of Channel 888. I'm here with another beautiful and dope guest that I found off Twitter. Been reading her tweets lately and it really been inspiring me. And I think it's a conversation that needs to be brought to the forefront. So I'm grateful to have Gette with me. Thank you. How are you?
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Abe. It's been a pleasure like following each other and kind of just, being on that frequency.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing well, enjoying this Sunday, about to go get some sun later since I'm on the West Coast and it's still a little bit early out here in LA. So no complaints. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. That's awesome. I read your tweet earlier when you were talking about the energy that today brings and the creative energy. So I'm glad we get to do this on a day like that.
Yeah.
So this is dope. So you ready to get into this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, first I just want you to tell us about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so yeah, I'm from LA. I've lived in DC and Atlanta also, but for right now, I'm back in LA calling this home. But yeah, so pretty much I'm a creative entrepreneur full time. So I do design, photography, video. I am pivoting into sharing a lot of spiritual information. So I'm actually working on a website for that I hope to drop actually this upcoming week. So I just feel, thank you. Thanks so much. I just feel like really inspired to kind of share how spirituality has helped me make my lifestyle what I've wanted it to be, because, a lot of people are wanting to kind of break out of the status quo type of life, or, wanting to create something different for themselves, but they don't know how to do it. So I get a lot of people asking me for business advice, but that's not my thing. I use magic, so I'm like,
yeah,
if I can kind of just show people about like how energy works and how energy really is everything and how you can utilize that once you understand it to your benefit. So yeah.
That's what I call a spiritual dot connector. I like to think of myself as someone like that. That's awesome. Since we're talking about your spirituality, tell us how you became this enlightened queen.
Well, thank you. And well, so it's definitely been a journey. I would say being a Scorpio sun, I have a big inclination toward like occultism and, spirituality and everything that's kind of like taboo when it comes to belief system. So ever since I was like little, my parents had me in church, right? But like a traditional Christian church. But from a really, really, really young age, I felt something was off. Like I felt that we were being like molded and shaped by these, religious texts, and how the leaders and leaders even in our community who aren't religious uphold these cultural values that we have, globally, and then also like within like the Black community and things like that, what popular belief systems are. So I kind of was always questioning that a lot. And when I got older, like when I was in college, I started getting more into like meditation and yoga. But I was kind of taking my time with it, because even though I felt that the thing that would really change my life and really be like a catalyst for pretty much opening any door you could imagine would be, and just feeling how you want to feel. So even when I say something opening doors for you, it's more than your career. I'm talking about even wanting to feel an elevated experience on this plane as a human in comparison to what you see kind of being the status quo life and the status quo frequency, So I knew it would be some type of spiritual path, but I knew that I felt that it would require me to really surrender, and to, at that time, I saw it as sacrifice the lifestyle that I already had. I felt like I needed to be more like, it was this lofty thing, like, oh, maybe when I'm 40, I'll live in a rural place and I'll grow my own food and I'll just meditate and do yoga all the time and be by myself, you know, and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of made it this lofty like thing to aspire to doing in the future after I've like lived life as a young person. But eventually I kind of just realized that that life that I was really trying to hold on to and resisting stepping into a new one, I realized that that old life, it actually wasn't that fulfilling. And I kind of felt like I got everything that I could from it. Like I'm someone who already did a lot of the partying and a lot of the like status quo things since from a young age, you know? So, and being from LA and all that. And so I realized like, actually, I don't think this is the happiest you can be with this lifestyle that you're holding on to. Maybe just start kind of delving into something else and see what that does for you. And then the more I kind of just surrendered to that, the more I would see like small things in my life change. And I was like, I'm really, really liking what I'm aligning with. So I have to just continue to surrender to that and just completely stop resisting just being where I'm at right now. And I just kept going. I kept diving deeper and just learning more, reading more books, just everything that I consumed more so was like spiritual for a certain period of time, all the conversations I wanted to have, everything that I wanted to do. I was living in Atlanta, so I didn't have so many people that I knew to constantly be surrounded with. So I found myself living a really, really different lifestyle where every day I was like just walking around and grounding in the park and just like meditating, and the experiences that that led me to really just encouraged me to just continue to go deeper on that path, but also to share, because I felt that it helped me to overcome so many things on so many levels. So yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds a lot like my story, definitely.
Oh.
Okay, I got some heavier topics that I don't want to go to yet, so I'm gonna keep it light right now. Give me the Omarion story. I've been, I've been researching you on your Twitter. I do my research. So give us the Omarion and the manifestation story.
Yeah, so basically, I spend a lot of time here in my community in Leimert Park. So one day I was at my local, this is like a spot where probably a lot of people, kind of spiritual people or whatever, go to just to get on Crenshaw, just to get like incense, herbs, they have all that type of stuff. And I was in there and I saw Omarion, and I felt like, okay, wow, this is a big opportunity because I'm a creative, so anytime I see someone like this, I know that like, whoa, that's an opportunity that could be great for my portfolio, right? So, and I have a huge affinity toward music. So for me, that was like a big thing. When I was a kid, I had, I didn't realize this till after the fact, but like I had a poster that had Omarion on it in my room when I was a kid, So I felt like, wow, this is, it's crazy to just like run into him here today. But at the same time, like I've encountered and kind of like worked in different capacities with different people. So I kind of was like, I don't want to just, he's trying to just shop and just enjoy his day. Like, I don't want to like be in his face, like, let's do business, da 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 da. So yeah, I just introduced myself to him and I said, like, I like the type of image that he's been putting out. I feel that it's kind of like, it has some type of like mystic type of resonance, where I could tell he's into some type of like, maybe some type of spirituality or something, or maybe it's the aesthetic, I don't know, because it's 2021, right? And these things are more popular and commercial, so you really never know.
Definitely.
But nonetheless, I was like, I'll just let him know. So I go home and I was like, that was cool. Like, I'm not really necessarily expecting anything from it. And the way I've basically manifested things for myself, like going from broke, $0, can't afford my $600 apartment, to being like full-time creative, living on my own in LA, was like a lot of mental alchemy, you know, a lot of believing already that I'm in a place that I actually physically wasn't. So when it came to that, I kind of had this thought where I was just like, I'll probably shoot him one day. You know, that was kind of my thinking. Like, I'll probably shoot him one day. And so I tweeted it that I thought he had good energy and I would like to shoot him one day. But it was just like a casual thing. Like, I don't know, let me just put this out into the universe, right? Because you can never put like a press type of energy into things that you want to see come to fruition, right? So I put it out there, and the next thing you know, a few days later, I was looking at my inbox on IG, and I saw that I had a message request that I was sitting on for days, and I didn't even know. And it was from Omarion's manager, and they were like, "We heard you want to work with O, like email us here." And so I sent some of my work, and the next thing you know, they were like, "Yeah, he wants to work with you. Like, we want to hop on a call. Let's, you know, organize this." So that's pretty much how that ended up happening. It was crazy because I'm, you know, I'm an artist, so I see myself expressing these, and especially going into the future, I really want to express a lot of spiritual and occult concepts through my work. And I saw Omarion as being someone who could stand in as a model for this concept that I had. So they told me to give them a concept, choose a location, and all this type of stuff. So I told them what my concept was and the location that I had in mind. And so everything got approved, but then I ended up finding out that they wanted me to do his album covers. So it just turned into like this whole thing. And then it ended up being an opportunity for one of my closest friends too, because she's a photographer. And I was like, do this with me, you know, like,
yes.
So we ended up doing that together. And her name is Nay, and her ad is shot by Nay. She's super, super talented. If y'all want to check her out.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Nay. But yeah, so that's just pretty much how that ended up unfolding. And yeah.
That's awesome. Like, I hope to have a story like that soon.
I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah, I am too. I'm sure I will too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to more current topics with quote unquote life and the matrix and things going on, conspiracy theories, gematria, with all these things that are on the minds and brains of people who are quote unquote awakening. How do we deal with these things? There's people who are on one side of the spectrum, they want to expose everything, and then there's people on the other side, they're just like, you know, I'm staying in my box and I'm manifesting my desires. Like, where do you fit in on that spectrum, and what do you what kind of advice do you give for someone trying to figure that out?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think a lot of people within our communities are kind of like questioning where they fit in all of this, you know, because you do feel like this some type of loyalty in a sense toward like justice or toward like free, you know, freedom for the collective and yes. Things like that, things that we often see politics and headlines going against. So, but at the same time, a lot of us hold these beliefs that you need to maintain your vibration. You need to not be distracted by the media. You need to not be, you know, let your frequency be brought down by the news and all this type of stuff. So what are we supposed to do, right? I honestly feel that like everything is so individual. So I think really people have to be true to themselves and do what they feel inclined to do. But I feel that, and what works for them. So if you're online and you're constantly just exposing a lot of what's going on, you know, if you want to make that your mission, that's fine. I feel like for me, more so sharing ways to kind of in general do like mental alchemy and things like that that put you in a better position. To me, that is showing people how to be in a position to better help others. So that's kind of how I look at it. For me personally, I see it as like, well, if I can help others to feel uplifted and to tap into abundance, they can be people who are uplifting their communities. They can be people who can help feed the homeless in their cities, and who can, you know, advocate for different things because they have more power, because, you know, they have some type of, they're tapped into some type of abundance on some level, you know? So that's kind of how I look at it. I see, you know, in the spiritual community, a lot of times, I feel like we're made to demonize money. But I feel that that really needs to shift, because while we are not of the matrix, we live here. And in order for us to uplift the collective, we can't do that from the same level as the collective. You know, we have to be able to elevate ourselves to be able to help the collective. So I feel like if we could all kind of focus on our individual journeys and how like that can make us a catalyst for helping more people, then that would be amazing, you know. But at the same time, I think if you feel like, you know, you want to shine a spotlight on certain things, you can do that. At the same time, I also feel like a lot of us who are going to care about these issues that people are doing a lot of exposing on and things like that, we actually are already aware of them, you know? Yeah, so a lot of times people might be actually investing their time in spotlighting something and trying to ram ideas and a care. You know, they want people to not be apathetic about the things that they see going on. But for the most part, I actually feel that the people who have no idea that some of this is going on, you won't necessarily be able to pull them in by just constantly tweeting news headlines. You know, I'm not sure if, for me, that's not what I see being like my path, you know, but at the same time, I understand people feeling inclined to do that. And I don't, you know, I don't fault them for that at all. I see my computer falling asleep. Sorry. But yeah, so I don't fault them at all for that. So
definitely. It's just, you know, it's just hard, you know. It's hard to sometimes separate that and find that balance, but that's really the key. And, you know, it's like I always say, it's a decision for every individual. So
exactly.
Okay, now I'm going to read some of your tweets. I think you have some fire tweets, and I just want you to just kind of elaborate on them. Okay.
Sure.
All right, this is a good one. Imagine how the universe sees it. If you hate your job and how much you make so much, wouldn't you put more of your energy into creating or finding a new job instead of complaining?
Yeah.
Elaborate on that for us.
So that's my way. Lately, I've been trying to not completely act like I live in the ethers. So I saw everyone talking about the minimum wage being changed to $15 or potentially. And I saw a lot of people, they weren't people that I follow because my timeline, you know, believes in infinite abundance, but some things that I saw being retweeted and stuff like that, you know, Twitter and social media actually make you be nosy. So, and be that you don't want to be. So I saw like people complaining about the $15 minimum wage and saying like, well, I do this and I make this much money, or I don't think that unskilled laborers should be paid $15 an hour for flipping burgers, this, that, and the third. And I just feel like, honestly, a lot of people are in the habit of complaining about their circumstances, and complaining requires a lot of energy. And not only does it require a lot of energy, but everything that you send out emits a certain frequency. Everything that you send out is sending a message to the universe. And so when you decide to focus your time on complaining, as opposed to plotting, brainstorming, as opposed to making some moves toward what it is that you would like to do, it kind of looks like you actually enjoy working at your job and you enjoy complaining about it. That's to me, that's the message that you're putting out. So, you know, when you're on some type of like path where you are invested in being intentional, a part of being intentional is everything you say and everything that you do, because it sends out a message that reverberates back to you through what your life looks like, you know? So if you're complaining instead of doing, how I see that 100% is the universe says, you like to do that because you spend a significant amount of your time doing that. So go ahead, have more of it. You get to keep that job, no problem.
Yes.
You get to keep your complaints, no problem.
Wow.
It's like, if you wanted to bring in something new, you will have to surrender that, because right now there's too much bullshit, different things taking up the space that you could be using to be a clear space. That way it's receptive to actually receive something new, and to get something new, to say, I want something new, you have to do something new. That sends that message, not complaining about your current circumstance, you know? So that's pretty much where that tweet came from.
The example I always give people is like, when they don't realize how much energy they're giving off from complaining, I say, think about how you feel when you get mad or when you yell at somebody, how you feel drained. I say, think about that. That's how much energy you're giving off to those situations. And that's what feeds it and makes it keep going.
Exactly.
Okay. I have another tweet right here. It goes, love does not fill voids. Don't let your ego be convinced otherwise just because you want to feel. Yeah. Break that down for us.
So honestly, I feel like a lot of people, they have this fantasy about the idea of love. And so they take crumbs from people, and then they might say, they kind of wrap it in this package where they convince themselves that what they're receiving is love, what they're experiencing is love, when that's not what they're actually experiencing. But it's like, you want to feel that from that person. You don't want to say, your ego doesn't want to say, no, this person is not giving me love. You know, it wants to say, yeah, who wouldn't want me, you know, or whatever. But it's like, in reality, is that what you're getting? And to be honest, that's a part of the reason why kind of shadow work is important, because and not completely dissolving your ego, because you actually need it for things like that. So using it in an improper way, you end up putting yourself in a position where you're actually coddling kind of yourself and what you think you need, versus using your ego to empower yourself when you've done some self-work, is that I deserve, you know, to truly experience love. Like I deserve to truly experience that vibration. And so that's the frequency that I'm going to emit. And like, I can feel when I'm getting that back, versus, you know, someone just giving me attention, or, you know, giving me pieces of what my ego wants, and me saying that's love, because that's not what it is. And love, you know, with it not being a void, that's something that you have to cultivate for yourself. Because I feel that a lot of people like move in the world and they want something from someone else, and they want someone to see something in them that they don't see yet in themselves, and that they haven't been able to give yet to themselves, you know? So love is a frequency. It's not a thing between two people. It can be experienced and felt between two people, but it's a frequency. So, you know, I say like, that's something that you were actually work on. Like, even if you're trying to manifest like a partner or something like that, like that's something that you actually can work on by yourself until you like align with that, you know. But it's not just something to be experienced from the outside. It's something that emanates from within, and you can also get it back in the pure form, you know, if you hold out for that form. So, or not hold out, but you know, I'm just saying if you don't look for the void filler.
Most definitely. Okay, one more. It says the state of the world is not getting worse. The state of the world has become more visible due to the veil thinning. You know, the first step to addressing an issue is acknowledging that there is one. Finally, we're stepping out of some major collective illusions.
Yeah, so I feel like this started a long time ago. Last year made it really, really clear. But when Trump first got elected, I actually felt like, wow, this is a big sign. Like, even though so many people were looking at it as like, oh my God, this is the end of the world, and all this type of stuff, I was like, wow, like people are about to see things for what they are. The fact that we can elect someone like Donald Trump as president, that means these institutions are getting ready to crumble because the facade is up. And so it's like, I would say like going into 2020 and then this year, you know, we've had so many things happening. We've had what felt like was a race war getting ready to start. We've had just the political blue versus red thing, and it's been so intense. Now we have people who are super like afraid of COVID, and versus people who are like, hey, COVID is a farce. Like, be careful. We're getting ready to have our rights stripped from us, you know? So there's just been like a huge like polarity that's really, really visible. But the thing is, it's kind of for anybody who can see things just for what they are, it's becoming very obvious that all of those polarities are just illusions. There is no, like, if you're Republicans and Democrats, I've seen a lot more talk about this in 2022 compared to in previous elections, where people were saying the Democrats and Republicans are both actually two sides of the same coin. You know, they have the same goal. They just have different puppet masters on each side appealing to different types of people so that they go hard for them and siphon your energy. And, you know, you can be invested in literally advocating for them to the point that you would even feel guilty. People will make you feel guilty for not even participating in that, when really it's saying, I own my own energy, you know, but nonetheless, you know, so many people have been like, wow, the government is a joke. Wow, the healthcare system is a joke. Wow, politicians, a joke. And you know what, to me, I would think that signals to people that, wait, so these are just everyday normal people. Like, I actually have some power and autonomy myself. You know, it's like with COVID, so many people lost jobs, so many people's lifestyles just completely turned upside down to a point where they had to focus on just what was in front of them, you know, and they've had to like go within and be with themselves. And that's brought a lot of clarity to a lot of people. And I know a lot of people have ascended through that time as well. So we kind of have, just like we have our own individual timelines and life paths, we have potential collective events and timelines that can happen as well. And a huge part of how we predict these things is celestial, right? Through like astrology and things like that. So this year we ended the year with the Great Conjunction, and everyone's talking about us going into the age of Aquarius. And so I see Aquarius and even Uranus, I see this planet as the number, well, embodying the energy of the number 0. And that is a space of endless and open, just like the number, how it looks. It's an open space, it's endless possibilities. It's, I don't know what's on the other side, but that's the only place for me to go from here, you know? And this is the collective point that we're in right now. So literally the veil is thinning, it's supposed to be thinning. And so what means does it take for that thinning to happen? It might feel like a lot of chaos and bullshit, right? But at the same time, there is a bigger picture. And I think that that's something that also, you know, focusing on that is also a great way to deal with everything that's going on and kind of seeing it for, okay, everything serves its purpose. Maybe this isn't all bad, you know? So yeah, I could go into that with the whole Aquarius and with what we're dealing with Saturn and Jupiter, and like how this is like changing how the status quo and our institutions that we've upheld, like they're so solid and so finite and so everything and have so much power, how they're getting ready to, and we can already see it happening, they're shifting. Yes. Everything is shifting and it's changing. And so yeah, we can see the chaos, but at least we know what's going on. That way we don't have to keep asking the same people for a solution to a problem that hopefully now more of us can see that they create, you know, so.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. That's all I had. Tell us about your what's gonna be on your website, where we can be able to find out what the projects you have coming up, anything you want to talk about. Go ahead.
Definitely. So, you know, you can follow me at Demisoule, DEMISOULE. That's my personal account. But I also have this account, Evolve and Go. Both of these are on Instagram and Twitter. The Evolve and Go Twitter has 0 posts yet, but it will have posts within the next 2 weeks, because I'll be posting articles there and on my personal account from the website that I'm dropping. And that is going to just have a lot more information, like about things that I tweet. They like kind of allude to different occult practices or ideas and things like that. I want people to be able to know what's behind this themselves, know the science behind this, be able to study it themselves and figure out how they can apply it to their lives to align with the life that they want. So that's the goal of that website. So I'm looking forward to dropping that for everybody.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you say anything about your design company? Don't you have a design?
Yes, I have a design company. Well, we do design, photo, video, all around digital branding. It's called 3B Design Co. You can check out 3bdesignco.com. One thing that I've, for me, that's kind of, I want to start shifting is to offer more like consultation with that, more like coaching type of thing, because I find that people, a lot of people aren't that inspired, and I want to work on things that are inspired, you know? So I kind of want to encourage people in that, you know, in terms of whatever vision they have, that's something that they're passionate about before they decide to, you know, create a whole business around it. So yeah, and then hopefully with Evolve and Go, I hope that I'll help a lot of other like creatives, entrepreneurs, and just mystics, and in general, just align with, you know, more of a lifestyle that they see for themselves. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you doing this with me, and anywhere we can fit in to work together, I would love to.
Likewise.
You're truly inspiring, and I really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
I'm really, really grateful that you reached out and that we were able to do this. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for what you're doing, because it's really important that we're having these type of conversations and getting them out there. So thanks so much.
All right, to everybody who's watching, we're going to say we're thankful. We had a beautiful guest, Gette. We thank her for being with us and all the knowledge and jewels she's dropped on us. We want you to stay positive yet dangerous. I'm 888, the Stay Positive King. I'm out of here.